With digital technology today, I mean, even the higher end cameras, you can lease them for a reasonable price, and your editing software and everything is so much cheaper now. You can produce pretty nice films for a fairly low budget.
Yep. Provided you've got a really good script.
Right. Yeah.
Provided you
got writing has to be
good story,
good for
good
sure.
script.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can do wonders, but it's always script in my head. But I've done a lot of. I think I've done like 100-something movies, 200 television episodes, bunch of music videos, a bunch of commercials, which are all. I've done 2 NFL commercials. That was fun.
Oh, nice.
So it's been exciting. So I could probably at this point write a book about all the things I've done and seen and heard.
So what year did you get started in film?
84.
84.
I graduated, came back from a master's, fall of 84. I got hired on that low budget movie called Dark Powers with Lash LaRue, and that's when I started.
But my friend's dad actually had a couple of Lash LaRue's Western pistols.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Wow, I'd like to see those. I think he was married like 11 times.
Oh, wow.
He had
he didn't learn then.
He had 11 marriages, and he signed a bullwhip for me. I gave one to my dad. My dad was a big fan of his, so I brought him and my mom over to meet him. So that was a big thrill. He used to talk about him all the time. I think he taught Harrison Ford or worked with Harrison Ford on using the bullwhip for Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, that's cool. Wow.
I could be wrong about that. You have to look that up. But at least that's what Lash said.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That was before the internet too, right?
Yeah. But he settled down with another lady, and I think he passed away here. He moved here, passed away. I don't know what.
Well, if he made it through 11 women and on to the 12th, he lived a good life, I guess.
Oh yeah, he was something. Yeah,
or maybe that's what killed him.
Maybe.
And I love TCM movies. You know, I'm a big fan of TCM movies. I'm currently trying to develop a film and television program with ACC, Alamance Community College, for a 2-year program that's like a conservatory.
Yeah, that's
like
awesome.
It's fully concentrated just on the art of filmmaking.
That'd be great.
And hoping to have TCM aboard to kind of be our academic. This is how movies are made. This is, how the movies back then, class and style.
Right.
Not like now. I mean, directors should think about what the costumes look like and what the hairstyles look like. All that gives you a look and it makes it production value higher, and stories very, very important as well. But yeah, where did I leave off? So at Venice, I was in Venice Beach at Roger Corman's, and I met a lot of folks. One of the people I had worked, 3 or 4, Mike Elliott's now producing Rob Zombie's movies.
Oh, okay.
He did Devil's Rejects and Houses of Corpses.
Nice.
Michelle Weissler produced The Ring and the Ring 2, Trouble with the Curve with Clint Eastwood. She's up there now as an executive producer. Classic lady, very smart, spunky, and brilliant producer. And she helped produce my movie I did called Dark Awakening, which I shot in Burlington. Janusz Kaminski.
Dark Awakening. That's on streaming platforms, right?
Probably it shouldn't be because I have the rights back, and
okay.
the distribution company that I had and the sales agency ran off with the movie as usual and send it out in the world. You never see any money coming back. You have to be careful. One thing, that's another lesson I learned about distribution. So I'm currently working with a new company out of LA who does distribution and post-production. And we have a show that's hopefully going to be at AFM to try to get some pre-sales on. The Naomi Wise story.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
That's the one we're working on. So we're developing the script. We went ahead and shot a teaser trailer, and hopefully it'll be effective enough to get some folks like Hallmark. It's kind of a Hallmark Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
Hope to get some interest from them, in which case then we could put the funding together and make the project. Awesome. But let's see. After Roger, I did work for Sid and Marty Krofft. Did the show called Land of the Lost.
Oh yeah.
It was the new season. I think I saw the one in the 70s I grew up on, but they did a new version with Timothy Bottoms, so I did that for a season, and then I got hired on Star Trek working for Mike Westmore on Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, Next Generation. Did a little bit of Voyager and 3 or 4 of the feature films.
That's awesome.
Star Trek. So I spent 7 years at Paramount on the lot, where I met everybody. Janusz, let me go back to Janusz. So Janusz and John Wentworth, who I mentioned earlier, who convinced me to come to L.A.
Right.
Janusz and I and John had a movie called Spud. He wrote this script called Spud about a potato that was a Martian. There was a Martian coming from outer space that was a potato, and the potato landed in a desert town, got hooked up with this girl, they made out, the potato exploded, and then the Martians figured Earth wasn't for them and left. That's the crux of the story. But it may be on YouTube somewhere. But it was shot in black and white.
Oh, wow.
And I built the giant potato and the little potato, and I think I built the planet that the potato came from, you know. And we did it all at Roger Corman's lot while we were there. And so Janusz was there. Janusz was a slate guy. He was doing slate and loading film with the camera. And he had been begging Roger or the people that ran the little studio to shoot something. He wants a chance to shoot. He was Polish. And he was a brilliant guy, a lot of fun, a lot of energy. And he finally shot something called Watchers. And then we did Terror Within 2. I think Terror Within 2 was the first project he did for Roger. It may have been his second feature as a DP. But we were doing effects. I was acting, doing stunts. I think I did some miniature work. But in Roger's studio, if you had skills at anything, you know, you were snatched up, you know, you were given jobs to do, which is great.
Sounds like our kind of guy.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Given experience to do things. And, you know, Janusz's camera loader, his slate guy, was actually doing craft service as well. He was putting food on the table in between loading film in a magazine.
It's efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then Janusz and I were talking about doing a short called The Silent Gray. We were going to come back here and shoot it. It was a Civil War short. It was a ghost story.
Okay.
About soldiers who were in the trenches in the battlefield, didn't know the war was ended, and they were dead. And they're being coaxed out of the trench to come up to a farmhouse to have their last supper with a little old lady. That's the basic of the story. Then they figure out by the end of the story they're dead. It's like a Twilight Zone episode.
It's kind of like The Others, maybe?
The Others, yeah.
Yeah.
But Janusz, we were talking, when are we going to go shoot the movie, Dean? I said, I don't know. I got to raise $50,000. I never raised the 50, so we never did it. But eventually I went off to do a couple of bigger projects, and I didn't hear from Janusz, or didn't see him for a while. Next thing I know, there's a movie called Schindler's List coming out. Guess who's the director of photography of Schindler's List?
Wow.
Janusz.
What a big jump.
Janusz, he went from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour that fast.
That's amazing.
Um,
Well, that's kind of like I tell people that when I'm talking about being an actor or writing, you know, you're always one project away from something really big.
Yeah, and you never know who
Yeah.
you're working with. Always treat people fairly, and always treat them because you never know where they're going to go, who they're going to meet.
Yeah.
You know, and it, as luck would have it, and it wasn't luck. He had some skills. He has incredible skills. I just worked with Janusz again 6 years ago on Lincoln. I was called up to work on Lincoln in Virginia. I was down here we do a haunted house called the Hollywood Horror Show. Out of my film
that's cool.
career,
Yeah.
we developed a haunted house, and I brought it back home. And this would have been our 31st year, but COVID, we decided not to be open.
Yeah.
But I went up to see Janusz. I hadn't seen him since I was on lot at Paramount working on Star Trek. He was doing some camera tests, but he's the same guy he always was. He was totally running that set for lighting and camera, everything. Totally had control of that set, and still the fun-loving guy he was. But it was like working on that film, and that was my first time working on a Steven Spielberg movie. It was like being in church. It was so quiet and so respectful. You know, Daniel Day-Lewis was referred to as Mr. President. You know, that's how it was, and it was just amazing. And the production value, you know, they turned the General Assembly building or something into Washington, D.C., and the streets were mud and horses. It was wonderful.
That's amazing.
Watching all this was like, oh, my God.
So what's Steven Spielberg like?
He was so kind to everybody. He had a cold at the time, but I could see him as he walked through the hall. He had tons of extras, and they were always wanting to say hello and how are you, and we love you for what you do. And he was so respectful and nice to everybody, but he was wonderful. His wife was wonderful, you know, the whole crew. But that was a great experience. But I was there for maybe 3 weeks, I think. I think we did some more work back in L.A., but that was fascinating to work at. And what I expected from working on that level of movie, I said, God, I'm going to go work on a Spielberg movie. You know, we're going to take our time. It's going to be in a rush. Be very careful what we do. And the speed of which we were going was like working on a $50,000 movie. Like, we have no time. Get it done. Hurry up. This has got to be more, better, faster. You know, and I was like,
Well, I'm sure the
this is-
cost of the budget was so much higher too, though.
Oh, yeah.
The per minute cost was
I mean,
probably astronomical.
They were moving so fast. I mean, the stunt guys were on the side of the hill practicing the fight scene. Next thing I know, we're down in a mud hole with the fight scene. It's raining, and they've already created rain towers. They're already bringing rain down anyway. It started raining for real, and I'm in mud up to my knees. And I remember we got to get these bodies done. We had like 30 bodies that had to be mutilated and maimed in all sorts of ways. It was a battlefield.
Yeah.
And the scene was Lincoln rides in on the battlefield, right? And looks down and looks at all these bodies and at the aftermath. And that was a shot for the day. So we'd been busting our butt all morning to get the shot. And we'd throw everything in the back of the golf carts. What do you call those four-wheelers?
Oh yeah, those
Towed 'em-
gators.
The gators. We towed them
Yeah.
up there, and it's mud, and we're just trying to trips around with these bodies and dropping them. And then I'm walking out there. Me and another makeup artist were hauling. I made this one particular bite look pretty cool. We worked on. We set it down in the mud, and Giannis is out there. Dean, Dean, come on, no, right here. He's yelling my name. First of all, I didn't want any of my cohorts to know that I knew the DP, because that's a sure sign of, okay, that guy's going, because he knows somebody. Because I was very nervous about that, getting fired because you are next to somebody, you might take their job.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, he was yelling my name out. It was fun though, watching it. But that body made the shot and made it in the movie that we worked on.
Awesome.
It was a body that was rented, but we had dressed it up to have multiple wounds on it to make it look like it was mutilated from an explosion. But that's the body that Lincoln looks down on in the movie when he's going through the field on the horse. He looks down and got a shot of his POV of the body in the mud. But man, we were getting stuck in the mud. I got stuck in the mud. I'd come out of my boot, you know, and then all the time they're yelling at us, "Get out of the way, we're ready to shoot. Come on, let's go." But no, I wasn't expecting to be, you know, hurry up and get it done now. So let's take our time, set it properly. Nope, get it in and get out.
Man.
Fast as you can go.
Time is money.
Time is money. But it was fascinating, that level of show, because it's just like walking back in time. Everybody's perfectly costumed. The streets, the mud, the smells, the actors. I mean, I was standing in front of the Washington marble statue in the rotunda there that was placed in like 1799. It was like before even Washington was even dead, I think.
Yeah.
I hear this tiny little old man voice behind me, and I turn around, it's Hal Holbrook, talking about, oh my God, this guy, he was still alive when the statue was placed here. And beside him is Sally Field. So those are wonderful experiences that I take away from everything I do.